So many people are doing everything they're supposed to. Taking baths, they're doing the journaling, they're trying to think positive, but the exhaustion just doesn't go away. You might feel for a moment of relief, but then that heavy feeling comes right back, or the anxiety spikes the moment you stop moving. Typically, what's going on at that point isn't a failure of mindset or a lack of effort. It's actually biological mismatch. Your body is stuck in a survival response, and a traditional self care might actually be making things louder inside your system. We're talking about that, what happens actually, we find relief that we're looking for. And how do we do that? It's something that we're not walking around wearing signs or saying, my nervous system is dysregulated. We just say, I'm stressed or I'm tired or I just can't seem to relax. But I've come across that too, just noticing how much shame people carry when their self-care doesn't work. You see, people who are trying so hard, they are just meditating, they're exercising, they're eating the right foods, and yet inside they still feel like a motor is running that they can't just turn off. Or they feel completely shut down, like they're moving through the mud. And I thought about that too. Whenever I would try to force myself to relax when I wasn't ready to relax, I didn't feel peaceful. It felt actually dangerous. This is the piece that gets missed so often. We treat stress like it's just in our heads. But think, if we can just change our thoughts, or if we can just pamper the body for an hour, the problem is solved. But trauma and chronic stress live in the nervous system, not just in the mind. When we try to apply surface level relaxation to a deep level survival state, it's like trying to put a Band-Aid on a broken bone. It doesn't address the root cause. Today, we're going to look at what actually is happening to your body when you can't relax. We're going to look at why forcing calm can sometimes backfire for trauma survivors. And we're going to look at how to actually signal safety to your body so that the relaxation can actually happen naturally without having to force it. To understand why the bubble bath isn't working, we have to look at what's happening underneath the surface. You can't see just the way the body holds itself. It's tight, it's bracing. Typically, what's going on at the point is automatic nervous system that has shifted into a state of protection. It has detected a threat. And now that threat might not be just a tiger in the room. It could be an email or a memory or just accumulated pressure of keeping it all together for years. When that switch flips, your body prepares fight or flee. It floods with adrenaline. It increases the heart rate. It shuts down the digestive and the rest. It's a brilliant survival mechanism. It's designed to save your life. But there's one catch to it. This system was designed for short bursts. You see the threat, you react, the threat goes away, and your system comes back into safety. For so many of us, especially if there is a history of trauma or chronic stress that the system gets stuck in on position, the switch is jammed. You're walking around your home in a safe home, doing safe things, but your body is psychologically responding as if you're in a war zone. And so that could be one reason why you don't know the condition of people that are walking around with, unless they're actually sometimes just saying it. Because on the outside, they look fine, but they are functioning inside like a ticking time bomb. There is a high frequency of vibration of danger, danger, danger consistently. Now imagine taking that body That body is primed to fight for its life, forcing it to lie still in the dark room and relax. To a survival brain, stillness does not equal relaxation. To a survival brain, stillness makes you a target. If you are in the wild and a predator is chasing you, the last thing you want to do is close your eyes and lie down. So when you try to force traditional self-care on a dysregulated system, your body might actually scream louder. You might feel more anxious when your body is trying to meditate. You might feel more agitated when you try to slow down. That isn't because it's a bad thing when you're trying to meditate. It's because your body, it's doing its job. It's saying it's not safe to let down guard. I can't let it down right now. It's just not safe. So how do we know if this is happening? Because again, depression has no face. Anxiety has no face usually. We hide it really well. Most of us know how to. But if you know what you're looking for and you know the signs, you can see just the way you move through your day. It could be the mind is racing. It could be that you're lying in bed exhausted and thoughts are going a mile a minute. You're planning consistently. You're worrying. You're replaying conversations in your head over and over and over again. You're planning out what's going to happen in the future when you're not even focusing on the present. This is the nervous system state, your sympathetic nervous system state, that fight or flight energy. It's mobile energy that has nowhere to go. Or it could be the opposite. You might feel completely blank. You're walking slower. You feel heavy. It's hard to formulate a sentence. You might even find yourself staring at the wall for 20 minutes, just checking it out, just staring right into space. This is what we call our docile vagal state, the freeze response, what we were talking about yesterday. It's when the system gets overwhelmed and it just shuts down to conserve energy. I've come across that too, of just noticing the pace that people walk or how they breathe when they're dysregulated. We often hold our breath without even realizing it, or we hold our breath very shallow, just in the upper chest, not in the stomach. This sends a constant signal to the brain that we are not safe. Another sign is the lack of flexibility in your reactions. Sometimes, maybe something happens, something small, a drop of a glass or someone cancels plans, and you have a reaction that feels huge instead of just looking at it as like, all right, it happened, no worries. Instead, you feel like your life is falling apart in front of you. So you go from 0 to 100 instantaneously, or you go from fine to completely hopeless in 1 second. That lack of middle ground is a hallmark of sensitized nervous system. Your window of tolerance has totally shrunk. And I thought about it too. How often we judge ourselves for these reactions. We think, I should be able to handle this. Why am I so upset? We think it's a character flaw, but it's not. It's biology. It's a nervous system that's operating at capacity. If you're already carrying hundreds of pounds of invisible stress, adding one more pound feels like the end of the world. It's not about 1 pound. It's about the 100 you already carrying that nobody sees. There is a concept in trauma work called triation. It means taking these things in small dosages. The mistake we make with traditional self-care is that we try to go for the big dose immediately. We try to go from state of high alarm to state of deep relaxation. We try to jump across the canyon. But for a trauma survivor, safety is unfamiliar. Peace can be boring, or it can feel terrifying to some people. If you grew up in chaos, or if you have lived a survival mode for decades, chaos feels normal. It felt normal for me. I didn't realize I was in chaos until I actually started to get help, step out of the zone, and then realize that I was in deep chaos. Because sometimes when you're in an environment and it's always chaotic, it just feels norm. So you don't even realize it. Chaos can sometimes feel, you know, just predictable. Quiet, quiet, suspicious. Quiet is when bad things happen, or quiet can just be the calm before the storm. So when you try to force yourself into that Zen state, your internal alarm system might actually ring louder. This is why you might feel yourself sabotaging right when things are going well, or why you might pick up a flight right when things get peaceful. It's not because you don't want peace, it's because your nervous system doesn't recognize peace as a safety territory yet. I've seen so many times people go on vacation to relax and they end up getting sick or they end up having a panic attack on the beach as soon as their external pressure drops and stops. The internal pressure has room to come to the surface. This is why we just can't decide to relax. We have to negotiate with the body. We have to show our body in small, incremental ways that it is safe to let go of just a little bit of tension. We have to build a capacity to feel safe. And that doesn't happen through bubble baths alone. It happens through connection and through orientation and through listening to what the body actually needs rather than listening to what we think it should need. So forcing relaxation doesn't work, does it? It starts with meeting your body where it is. If you have a lot of anxious, racing energy all the time, try sitting still and fighting your physiology. Instead, you might need to move that energy through. You might need to shake your hands or go for a brisk walk or push against a wall. You match the energy first and then you slow it down. If you're feeling shut down and heavy, try to force the energy. That high energy exercise might just deplete you further. You might need gentle swaying or wrapping yourself in a heavy blanket or just looking around a room and naming 3 things you see. This is called orienting. It's a primal way of telling your brain, look, I'm here. There is no tiger and I'm safe in this moment. It could be just noticing sensation of your feet on the floor, really feeling the ground supporting you. It's something that we're not walking around feeling about, but gravity is always there, reminding your body that it is supported and it can be incredibly grounded for you. It's about small moments, just small moments of noticing, not fixing, just noticing. Right now, my heart is beating fast. Okay, I'm noticing that. That's a little bit of distance and it helps. You don't have to fix your nervous system overnight. You just have to start creating a little islands of safety. So many people they don't say it a lot, but this struggle is real. If you've been beating up yourself because you just can't relax, I know that your body is not broken. It's protecting you. It's working overtime to keep you safe. We can learn to work with it instead of against it. If this resonates with you, if you felt that exhaustion, that sleep doesn't fix, let me know in the comments. Tell me one thing that you notice about your own patterns. Do you tend to race? Do you tend to shut down? There's so much more that we can talk about in regard to this. But just stating and just starting to see these invisible mechanisms is the first step. Let's be gentle with ourselves today. Start understanding yourself, understanding how your body works. I always like to keep a journal and observe the way I feel. How do you feel in the morning? Write it down. How do you feel in the afternoon? If there's a change in the way you feel, maybe jot down some things that could have triggered the change in the way you feel. At night, write something. Talk about something pleasant, something that you have gratitude for, and take those walks. Feel the grass on your feet. Feel how it feels just to put a nice warm blanket around you. Maybe close your eyes and think of something pleasant. Calm yourself to a level where you can ground yourself and feel in the present moment a sense of relaxation. Yesterday, we talked about different types of breath work that you could use. Try to apply some of that breath work. Apply it in the morning before you start the day and right before you go to bed at night. There was many times where I'd wake up really early in the morning, 3, 4 in the morning, because my subconscious was so worried about so many different things that was going on in my head. Or I'd feel a racing pressure in my chest. I don't feel like that anymore. And you could be like that too. So tell me in the comment box what helps you and what you'd like to know if you don't feel like you're at that calm moment. You still feel like you're racing. You still feel anxious. Let me help you get to the point where you want to be. Share your thoughts and your comments, and I'll see you next time.